Welcome in, REVO Church, to day 3 of the 21 days of prayer for 2026. We're spending some time in the waiting room over the past couple days, and will be for the next, 18 days, I guess, for that would make 21. And today in the written content, which, once again, I'm going to hit it every day, that is the most important thing we've got. The podcast is great. Hopefully we're adding some things. Hopefully it's helpful to you, life application, next steps, things like that. But the main thing is to get you and the church as a whole praying together over the same sort of things. And that's what the written content does, especially the little booklets with the notes on one side. That's a space for us to pray. So make sure you're doing that. But we hit two really random, at least seemingly random, weird passages. Hosea chapter 12 and James chapter 4. Hosea is in the Old Testament. I'll read that verse real fast. It's verse 6. He says, "So you, by the help of your God, return. Hold fast to love and justice, and wait continually for your God." So that's Hosea 12, verse 6. And then, Nathan, you got James chapter 4, verse 8.
Yeah, there's a promise. I'm surprised you went to James. We spent 12 weeks in James.
Yeah.
We're not going to read James.
Shout out to the James series. Yeah.
Boom, that was good. But James 4, James makes a promise in verse 8. It says, if you will come close to God, then God will come close to you.
Yeah.
So this idea of being close and coming close to God, even in the season of waiting.
I thought it was really neat because when Hosea says wait, right, that's the theme. We're talking about the waiting room, and Hosea chapter 12, verse 6 says, "Wait continually for your God." So one of the commands God has for his people during this season is to continue to wait, continually wait on the Lord. Yet, when I was studying James chapter 4, this actually almost made it into the message of whatever week of the James series that would have been, but I didn't saved it for this. When James says "draw near," as the ESV puts it, or come close spiritually to your God, it's actually the same Greek word that in the Greek translation of the Old Testament is "wait continually for your God." So it's almost as if Hosea chapter 12, verse 6 could say, "Draw near continually to your God." So waiting time then is a time to draw near to God, is one way to put it. That when James is using that same word, it's as if we're saying waiting and drawing near are oftentimes synonymous. We're saying that drawing near to God is something that we should constantly be doing in the season of waiting. So the waiting room is not, and this is where, like, it's a great analogy. I mean, it was one of Nathan's ideas, I think, unless you stole it from somebody else. But I thought it was a great analogy of how we spend a lot of time in the waiting room. But like all analogies, they break down at some point. And the main one, I think, is in a waiting room physically, here on earth, we wait to go to see the doctor. But in a waiting room spiritually, God's right there in the chair next to us. And so that's time for us to draw near to God, come closer to God spiritually, and not just say, well, I'm waiting for God to do something, and until then, I will never be able to experience God. I'm waiting on God to draw near, or something like that. Like, that's not how it works. James says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you.
Yeah, that waiting. We've already established that waiting is a part of our spiritual life, of our prayer life, but what the Bible is clear on is we got to make sure we know what we're waiting on. The Bible doesn't say wait on God to give you everything that you want. It doesn't say wait to hear from God. It doesn't say wait for your prayer to be answered. The Bible says when we wait, we're waiting on God. Like that presence, being with him, we're connecting with a person, not just bringing a wish list in prayer. And so it's not about even the destination or where we want to go or where we're headed or what we want from God. Part of the journey and the process of waiting is understanding that I'm here waiting on God. Now, as a dad, a guy with 3 girls in his house, a wife and 2 daughters, I know what it feels like to wait on someone. It takes me approximately 5 minutes to get ready. It takes my girls
just a couple minutes
approximately longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm downstairs waiting. Man, we might be getting ready to go to the mall. Hey, let's go to the mall. Let's go hang out. Let's go be together. Well, 30 minutes later, somebody's still doing their hair. Somebody's still getting their outfit. Somebody's putting on another layer of lip gloss. Somebody's wanting to change their shoes again. And, part of me thinks, well, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go to the mall. I could have been to the mall, got what I wanted, and back by now. But the reminder is, I really don't want the mall. I want to be with the girls. I'm not going to leave because I don't want to go without them. And sometimes in our prayers, it'll trick our minds into thinking that I could just go and get this without God. I could go ahead of God and just try to figure it out on my own, like get it on my own, work it out on my own, my plan, my way. But the reminder from Hosea and James is we're not just waiting on something from God, we're drawing closer to God. So fight the desire and even the temptation to pray and wait a little bit. And then eventually I'm tired of waiting. So, all right, God, if you're not going to move, I'm going to go with you. We jump in the car and we drive to the mall without him. Our prayer life involves waiting and drawing closer to God. You can't draw closer to God if you leave God in the dust trying to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to move forward.
Yeah, that reminds me of a Charles Spurgeon quote I read, and I actually had thinking about it for yesterday's day too, and just didn't even, I don't know, I guess it just blanked so that I could think about it now because I thought it matched up so well. I like that illustration of not wanting to go to the mall without your daughters because the whole point is to spend time with them, get to know them, love them more, not just go to the mall. I mean, heck, you probably get whatever you wanted off Amazon or something anyways, but the goal is spend time with him. Spurgeon said that many, through wishing to be great, have failed to be good. They were not content to adorn the lowly, and of course he's, Old English, so bear with me. They were not content to adorn the lowly stations which the Lord had appointed them, and so they rushed at grandeur and power and found destruction where they looked for honor. It's like if you want something that's good, but you don't want to wait on God's timing, and so you just rush into it. And he said that, and you find destruction where you looked for something that was good. I mean, isn't that kind of like a lot of the time travel movies that we watch, or books that we read, where almost without fail, when they time travel, the whole point is you tried to prevent something bad, but then it was exactly what you did when you did your time traveling that made the bad thing happen. Whereas maybe if you hadn't gone back and tried to fix it all on your own, it wouldn't have ever happened in the first place. And that's kind of the whole, like, is fate this and that? And that's what the time travel movies remind me of, is the whole point is do it with God. Don't try to take matters into your own hands. You're more likely to ruin it and mess it up anyway. So wait on the Lord. Wait for God to do that. So I like that about hanging out with your daughters. That's a good point.
Yeah. So maybe for us today, make the commitment. Hey, I'm not just asking something from God, a blessing from his hand, but I want God. I want God's presence. I'm not just asking for a result. I want a relationship. As you draw close to him, he will draw close to you. I don't want to just go to the mall. I don't just want a door open so that I can walk through it. God, I want to be with you. And that's a goal that God has, and a goal that we should have even in the midst of being in the waiting room.